Hello, how you doing? My name is Nathaniel, and what I'm going to do today is try to give people a little lesson on sickle cell disease. It's a disease I know very well because I have sickle cell. Got diagnosed when I was 3 months, and it's been a very long road the past 32 years. But I appreciate sickle cell for one thing because sickle cell has given me a much brighter outlook on life than I noticed that a lot of people have because you kind of notice the little things when you don't know how long you're going to be here to see those little things. So you appreciate all the little things in life a little bit more when you're faced with your own mortality pretty much all of your life. So I'm just going to get into this because I want to get some awareness off sickle cell. This is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, September, people, in case you don't know. So I'm going to try to get into this and just bring forth some awareness about sickle cell. I've been building up all these. I've been collecting I'm getting pamphlets and stuff together because I'm trying to start my own organization. I'm trying to put on a walk run at the beginning of next year. Beginning the middle of next year. So this is what I want to do. So I have these pamphlets, and I figured since I got them, I would actually read them out and explain to people some things that they wouldn't know about sickle cell, like how you get it, where it comes from. More than one race actually gets sickle cell. So let me just get into this. And this first page right here in this pamphlet, I'm going to read this to you because this is just some stuff. It says, "Why should I learn about sickle cell?" Pretty much, because sickle cell disease is a serious health problem. It affects many individuals who must learn to handle the physical and emotional ups and downs of the disease. Couples who need to consider the possibility of passing sickle cell disease, their children, families and loved ones who may be involved in caring for someone with sickle cell disease. Now, all of these things have affected me with sickle cell. Being young, growing up with sickle cell, you have to learn to cope with sickle cell, which is very hard. It's hard to be that kid that, you don't want no one to know that you're sick, because if anyone knows you're sick, then you become that kid. Like, oh, don't hit him when you're playing football. Just touch him because he might get sick. Don't do this. And then you have the girls like, should I kiss him because I don't know if I'll catch it? Or, it's a lot of things that you go through as a kid with sickle cell when you have sickle cell. So that's emotional, mental, and physical. As a child, that's what you deal with sickle cell. Then as you get older, you have the thought of having kids. Should I, shouldn't I? Will my kids have sickle cell? You need to get your partner tested to see if he or she has a trait. Because if you have disease and they have a trait, that's not good. Which sucks because most time in relationships, you're with someone for a while, then you want to have kids with that person. You don't want to go find a person as soon as you meet them, like, hey, let's go get tested for sickle cell, just so I can know. That's in case we have kids. That would be kind of strange. Can't approach somebody like that. The average person would be like, wait, dude, we having coffee. I'm not having a kid with you, so why do I need to get tested? You know what I mean? So if you have to, in order to get, once you get to the point to having kids, you're most likely in love. Probably think about marriage, Then it's like, well, we need to see if you have sickle cell so we can have a kid. Just think about that. you're in love with this person, you want to marry this person, you want to have kids with this person, then you find out they have sickle cell trait. What do you do then? Think about it. That's stuff that we have to worry about. Average person don't even think about stuff like that. So then you have the families. I have 2 kids. I'm blessed to have 2 wonderful kids. They are great, and they have the trait, but none of them have the disease. But them watching what I go through, it kills them. Like they are really, they having some emotional issues. You know, my son, he sees a counselor. My daughter, she's only 6, and she's starting to act out of school because she's scared that one day she's gonna come home, daddy's not home. That kills them, and in turn, it kills me very badly because those kids are my life. You know, you can take everything from me. You know, my big collection of comic books back there, take it away. You know, everything I own, just take it away. I don't care. As long as I still have my kids, you know, and it kills me that I'm causing them pain, even though it's not intentional, you know. So that's another thing that people still have to worry about, because it may be other people hurting, but it hurts us that we are hurting other people, you know. So, all right, now a lot of people ask me, what's the difference between sickle cell disease and sickle cell trait? Because my kids have a trait, I have disease. Well, the difference between sickle cell trait is people with sickle cell trait will never get the disease, but they do carry the gene to pass it on, which could in turn affect their children, you know. And once again, when they get older, they'll have to find out that their partner, mate, husband, wife, whatever, doesn't have the trait, so they won't pass it on to their kids. Now we're gonna get to the part where it talks about families and how sickle cell is passed. You know, when one parent has sickle cell trait and the other has regular hemoglobin, the chances for each pregnancy are 50% that the baby will have regular hemoglobin or sickle cell trait. It's 50-50 chance. You know, when both parents have sickle cell trait, the chances for each pregnancy is 1 in 4 that the baby's hemoglobin will be regular, 2 in 4 that the baby will have sickle cell trait, 1 in 4 that the baby will have sickle cell disease. I was 1 in 3. Me. 3. Well, actually, my bad. Let me rephrase that. Because my oldest brother has a different father. I was 1 of 2 to have the disease. Look at me! Yay! But and when one parent has sickle cell disease, another parent has regular hemoglobin, all their children will have sickle cell trait. Once again, their kids have sickle cell trait. And when one parent has sickle cell trait and the other has sickle cell disease, the chances for each pregnancy are that there's a 50% chance that one of the children will have the trait and the other will have disease. You know, that's how that goes. Which sucks. Once again, if you have sickle cell and you're watching this video, please make sure that your mate does not have the trait or the disease. We need to stop passing this disease on to other generations. You know what you go through. You know how you feel and your parents felt about watching you go through it. You don't want your kids to go through this. You don't want to watch your kids go through this. Be smart. Just think about it. I know it sucks, but think about it. All right, here's some facts about sickle cell. Fact 1. This is probably the biggest fact of them all, because this is the biggest fact that people seem to not understand when it comes to sickle cell. Sickle cell is not restricted to one group of people. Let me repeat that. Sickle cell is not restricted to one group of people. It is not a black disease. People in many ethnic groups can have sickle cell trait or disease. It's most common among African Americans, but people of Greek or Western Asian ancestry, Native Americans, and people in other ethnic groups may have it too. 2. Sickle cell trait cannot develop into sickle cell disease. Sickle cell trait is not a disease. There is no chance that a person with sickle cell trait will get sickle cell disease. That is actually a good fact because some people believe that sickle cell trait can turn to disease. Not true. I tried to tell them that. They're like, you can't have pain with the trait. Doesn't mean you have disease. Just means you had a trait and you've overexerted yourself. You're having pain. Get it right. Sickle cell disease is not contagious. It's a popular belief. Trust me. I've been with my girl for 13 years. She doesn't have sickle cell. Any girl that I knew before her do not have sickle cell. I've coughed on people. I've done all kinds of things. No one's caught it. So if it's contagious, I must have the non-contagious kind because I've never given it to anyone. 4. Just because you have sickle cell doesn't mean you're stupid. And it's sad that I have to say that, but I have to say that because people really think because you're sick, you're like special. You're stupid. It doesn't affect my brain. Duh. It's like the one organ it doesn't affect. Could I have that? Let's see. I'm going to read a couple more of these and I'm going to get out of here because I've been talking for 12 minutes now and you're probably tired of looking at my ugly face. So, sickle cell disease can cause many health problems. These include infections. Curved, sticky blood cells can clog the spleen and prevent it from helping the body kill germs. I don't have a spleen anymore because curved, sticky blood cells destroyed it. It's gone. Anemia. Sickle cells have a shorter life than regular blood cells. The body cannot make new red blood cells fast enough to replace old ones with fewer red blood cells. Organs and tissues do not get the oxygen they need. Anemic. Organ damage. Lack of oxygen over many years can lead to tissue and organ damage in any part of the body. I know. Pain. Crescent-shaped cells can get stuck in smaller blood vessels that may block blood and oxygen flow to tissues, resulting in pain. Huh? That happens? What? 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 It hurts. How bad? Very bad. Complications during pregnancy. This is one problem that I don't have. A woman with sickle cell disease can have a healthy baby. However, risks are involved, and both she and the baby should be closely monitored by a healthcare provider. Prenatal care is very important. And not to be funny, that is very true. I've had a family member die from giving birth, complications in birth with her sickle cell. It sucks. Hand and foot syndrome. This involves pain and swelling on the hands and feet. It's caused by sickle cell that block the blood vessels of the hands and feet. It usually occurs in younger children. Used to happen all the time when I was young. It sucks. Jaundice. Its symptoms include a yellowish tinge of the eyeballs or skin. It's usually painless, but it indicates a problem with blood. That is a good thing for people to know because when my eyes are yellow, no, I'm not high. Doesn't mean I was smoking weed. No. I have sickle cell. That's why my eyes get yellow. I was not smoking weed. No matter how much you try to convince me I wasn't. Because I know I wasn't just because you think Look at your eyes. You high, aren't you? No. No. Not high. I'm sick. Big difference. Leg ulcers. Poor circulation can lead to sores that have difficulty healing. These often occur around the ankles. Haven't had ulcers yet. Thank God. Other problems associated with sickle cell disease. Chest pains and trouble breathing. Had that. Stroke. Never had that. Thank God. Gallstones. Been there. Blood in the urine. Never had that. Thank God. Pneumonia. Had that. Painful erections in men, which they call priapism. Had that. It sucks. People joke like, oh, it doesn't go down. You should be happy. No. Not happy. Not good. Hurts. Sex is the last thing I'm thinking about when I'm having priapism. I'm thinking about cutting it off and throwing it away at that time. All newborns should be tested. This is a fact. All newborns should be tested for sickle cell. All of them. Of all races. Because it's not a black disease. If your infant has sickle cell disease, steps should be taken to provide medical care. All signs of illness in an infant with sickle cell disease must be treated as emergency. A key sign is fever of 101 degrees or higher. Normal well baby care. Infants with sickle cell disease need to get proper nutrition, regular checkups, and immunizations, just like all other babies. Counseling for parents. Parents should learn routine child care for infants with sickle cell disease. Skills include taking the baby's temperature and checking for breathing problems or swelling of the spleen. With little help, parents can learn proper care for infants with sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease can be controlled. You know, I don't like when people say that. I think it's more of a sickle cell can be partially maintained, because I can't really say controlled, because if it was controlled, I would know when I was getting sick. You know, I would be able to mark on a calendar, well, I know I'm going to get sick on this day. When you have control of something, there's no surprises. Sickle cell surprises you all the time. So I can't really say you can control it. You can maintain yourself partially. But control? Man. I don't believe you. And that's all I'm going to read for today, because that's pretty much in the book and all the stuff that I really think we need to get over. So that should be a little bit of lesson in sickle cell. I know this video is 17 minutes long. Most people probably not going to get to this point of me saying thank you for watching, because most people have the attention spans of them little small barking dogs, chihuahuas, whatever they call. Throw me the ball, throw me the ball, throw me the ball! Yeah. But if you got to the end of this video, I thank you very much for watching, because people really need to learn about sickle cell, and I really appreciate the ones who are paying attention and who actually want to learn. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and good night.